For decades, Donald Trump promoted himself as intellectually superior to everyone around him. He repeatedly called himself a very stable genius and mocked Harvard graduates as overrated and incompetent. But Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just shattered that carefully constructed image by revealing Trump's 1965 SAT scores, and the results are devastating. The man who ridiculed educated Americans scored 970 out of 2,600, below the national average. The Trump SAT scores revelation has ignited a firestorm, exposing the hypocrisy behind his decades-long claims of exceptional intelligence. Donald Trump's entire political identity revolves around portraying himself as smarter than everyone else. He's dismissed Ivy League graduates, questioned the intelligence of political opponents, and constantly demanded others release their academic records while hiding his own. The Trump intelligence claims became central to his brand: superior business instincts, exceptional decision-making abilities, and natural genius that required no formal validation. "I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius," Trump declared repeatedly. He suggested his instincts alone guaranteed success, positioning himself as intellectually superior to Harvard-educated politicians and policy experts. But Jasmine Crockett's bombshell revelation about Trump SAT scores destroys this narrative completely. When Jasmine Crockett released the Trump SAT scores from 1965, the political world erupted. Trump scored 970 out of 1,600. Below the national average of 980-990 at the time. This wasn't a competitive score for elite universities. It barely cleared basic passing standards, revealing fundamental struggles with critical thinking and academic preparation. Crockett didn't just present the Trump SAT scores. She demolished Trump's hypocrisy with surgical precision. "Mr. Trump, you've mocked educated Americans for years, but your own scores show you were one bubble away from failing," she stated. Her words cut through decades of Trump's self-aggrandizing mythology, exposing the gap between his claims and reality. The significance of these Trump SAT scores cannot be overstated. In 1965, the SAT wasn't merely a test. It measured discipline, preparation, and intellectual capability. Scoring below average suggested serious deficiencies in fundamental academic skills. Yet this was the same man who spent years questioning the intelligence of Rhodes scholars, Harvard law graduates, and distinguished public servants. Jasmine Crockett's revelation about Trump SAT scores validates long-standing allegations. Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, testified under oath that Trump paid someone to take his college entrance exams. Cohen also claimed Trump threatened educational institutions and the College Board to prevent releasing his academic records. These Trump SAT scores prove Cohen wasn't exaggerating. Trump had compelling reasons to hide this information. The truth would obliterate the stable genius image he cultivated for decades. The Trump intelligence claims relied entirely on preventing exactly this kind of exposure. Now that Jasmine Crockett has released the Trump SAT scores, the foundation of his intellectual superiority narrative has collapsed. The internet exploded after Jasmine Crockett exposed the Trump SAT scores. Hashtags like "I barely passed Trump" and "Stable Genius 970" trended immediately, with millions mocking the stark contrast between Trump's boastful claims and his mediocre academic performance. Late-night comedians seized on the Trump SAT scores, highlighting the absurdity of someone who scored below average, ridiculing highly educated professionals. Political commentators emphasize that these Trump SAT scores matter precisely because Trump made intelligence a central campaign issue. He consistently measured others by academic standards while hiding his own records. Jasmine Crockett's exposure of Trump SAT scores strips away that double standard with brutal effectiveness. Trump supporters argued that standardized tests don't define intelligence, pointing to successful people who performed poorly academically. However, this defense contradicts Trump's own behavior. He's demanded opponents release their grades, bragged about his supposed IQ, and used educational credentials as weapons against critics. The Trump intelligence claims were always rooted in metrics he now dismisses when applied to himself. Trump's entire brand depends on perceived superiority, superior wealth, superior instincts, and above all, superior intelligence. The Trump SAT scores revelation strikes directly at this foundation. If his academic performance was below average, how did he gain entrance to prestigious institutions like Wharton? The answer likely involves privilege, family wealth, and influential connections rather than merit. Jasmine Crockett highlighted this uncomfortable truth when discussing Trump SAT scores. The stable genius narrative wasn't built on actual achievement. It was constructed through decades of exaggeration, wealth-powered access, and aggressive concealment of contradictory evidence. These Trump SAT scores prove the intellectual superiority Trump projects is performance art, not reality. Politically, the Trump SAT scores revelation changes the landscape. Trump has weaponized intelligence claims for years, dismissing opponents as stupid or unqualified. Jasmine Crockett just disarmed him completely. Beyond politics, these Trump SAT scores reveal something fundamental about Trump's approach to success. His career has been defined by myth-making, exaggeration, and carefully curated imagery rather than genuine expertise or discipline. The Trump intelligence claims were never about actual knowledge or academic achievement. They were about controlling perception through repetition and intimidation. Jasmine Crockett's release of Trump SAT scores demonstrates that true intelligence isn't proven through arrogance or self-promotion. Real intellectual capability shows through honesty, discipline, respect for learning, and willingness to acknowledge limitations. Trump has never demonstrated these qualities. Instead, he built a facade that Jasmine Crockett just demolished with a single document. The Trump SAT scores revelation marks a turning point. For decades, Trump's claims of exceptional intelligence went unchallenged because he successfully suppressed evidence. But Jasmine Crockett changed that permanently. The stable genius, who mocked educated Americans, scored below average on the very test that measures academic readiness. The mask is off. The Trump intelligence claims that once seemed untouchable have been exposed as fraudulent. Jasmine Crockett didn't just reveal Trump SAT scores. She dismantled the central pillar of Trump's self-created mythology. The consequences will echo through American politics for years to come, reminding everyone that arrogance is not intelligence, and self-promotion cannot replace genuine achievement.